Good morning. I'm Mike Clement. I'm Mayor of the City of Manchester, and I am here at our Veterans Memorial, and this is a small ceremony for Memorial Day. It's not what we hope to have here, but because of the coronavirus and a lot of restrictions, this is what we're going to kind of do, a small impromptu virtual ceremony, virtual tour of our memorial. Have a couple friends here with me, and they are James Francis, who serves with me on the Veterans Commission, and Chris Becker will be playing the trumpet. He is the conductor of the Manchester Community Band. And Kat Sheen is the videographer, and she is handling the iPhone. And so this is really kind of a simple ceremony in which we want to remember the great impact that veterans have played in our lives and the importance of this day, Memorial Day. So I'm going to invite Kat to kind of follow me in, and let's go take a look at the memorial. The Veterans Memorial is about 10 years old. In June of this year, 1 month from now, it will be celebrating its 10th anniversary. It is beautiful at any time of year, but when you see the flags up, it becomes even more beautiful and more meaningful. So, Kat, let's go on in. You can see we have a lot of memorials, remembrances, the monuments themselves, the benches, and oh so many of the pavers that remind us of our family and friends, their own service and the importance of that. Lots of our Manchester and regional families are remembered here through the use of pavers. We have a couple of types of flags. The flags that we just saw at the entrance, our beautiful American flag. These flags that are flying on both sides at this point are what we call flags of valor. Flags of valor have great meaning for us. These flags all flew on Art Hill at the 15th anniversary of 9/11, and they are more special, I think anyway. Flags of valor actually memorialize a very special individual, a special hero. These represent men and women who have died in the post 9/11 fight against terrorism. Not only do they carry the individual's name, but a photo and the dog tag. These all represent something, and that's very special. We have one over here that actually has close ties to this region. Matthew Walker, his parents and his grandparents live in the area. Matthew's funeral was at Manchester United Methodist Church, and we remembered him also as we have named a street after him also as well. So Matthew's flag kind of has a place of honor in this memorial right here. This is another flag of valor, and it represents post-traumatic stress disorder veterans. And we also know that there are veterans who have lost their life to PTSD and the effects of PTSD, and we remember them too as well. These flags of valor just really mean a lot to us as a city. We keep them and cherish them, and we bring them out on special occasions. I'm going to share one recollection from last year's ceremony. Last year's Memorial Day was actually large and robust and beautiful, but I came back later in the day, and in the afternoon my wife and I did, and I actually was standing just about right here, and there were 2 or 3 carloads of people that came in, and they actually came in pretty fast, and they unloaded from the car, and there must have been 9 or 10 of them in different ages, and I suspect it was 3 generations of a family, and they were actually quite loud, laughing, and it was kind of what you would think from a family reunion. And they focused on an area over there. They obviously knew where they needed to go. They had found their paver that they were there to visit. And I kind of turned away. I didn't want to continue to stare. And the volume stopped. And I turned back around and I looked at them, and they had all circled up and had their arms on each other's waist, and someone was offering a prayer for that person that they were there to remember. And I thought that symbolized left such an impact on me, because it really shows us the power of Memorial Day and the power of this place where we come to honor and remember and to say thank you. And isn't that the whole point of this ceremony and of this park? So very, very proud of our park. And we're going to now call in our James Francis, and he will lead us in an invocation.
Today, we put aside our own personal struggles. It is a time to remember those who have gone before us, burdened with that final great mission. When it was necessary, they stepped up and secured our freedoms and rights with selfless service. We ask God to look upon them and guide them to the final resting place. The path they blazed, we now walk, and we remember.
Thank you, James. This ceremony, as I had indicated, is much smaller and simpler. I'm going to read a proclamation from the City of Manchester that I presented at the last Board of Aldermen meeting. James and I will then read names of those who have gone before us, and then the ceremony will conclude with taps. And as you can tell, we are across from a fire station, and they are very active right now this morning. So once our videographer has got her camera ready to go, then I will be ready to go. Here is the proclamation from the City of Manchester. Whereas since our nation's inception, brave men and women have given their lives to protect our freedoms in service to our great nation, and we have strived to honor their sacrifice through historic burial grounds, battlefields, memorials, and other tributes to recognize our fallen. And whereas in 1971, the United States Congress established the national observance of Memorial Day as the last Monday of May. The federal holiday honors all men and women who have died while serving our great country. And whereas Memorial Day enables Americans the opportunity to honor those brave warriors who paid the ultimate sacrifice to guarantee the freedoms and liberties we have come to expect and greatly appreciate through our nation's history. And whereas future generations of our community will continue to stand ready to serve our country and are prepared to pay the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that our city, state, and nation remain free. And whereas we are forever indebted to the millions of men and women committed to protecting the liberties, safety, and quality of life, and it is fitting and proper that we express our gratitude for the dedicated service and courageous deeds our soldiers, sailors, Marines, Airmen, and Coast Guard have all made to provide security and well-being of all our people. Now therefore I, Mike Clement, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Manchester, do hereby proclaim the date of May 25th, 2020 as a day of observance and remembrance of our fallen brothers and sisters, and urge all residents to observe the day by acknowledging the fallen for their outstanding bravery, dedication, and supreme sacrifice. And again, as I said, I presented that to the Board of Aldermen as well. At this point, James and I are going to read the names of veterans and those who have served and who have passed away in the last year. And we have about 50 plus names to read here. So James, we will start.
Robert Ayers,
William Biddle,
Rex Gordon Carnes,
Deacon Henry Colbert,
Henry Coleman,
Gerald Coonan,
Frank DeGraff,
Eugene Dixon,
John Dewing,
Joseph Dionzak,
Ralph Wilson Horner,
John Fortner,
John Robert Francis,
John Jerfin,
Walter Gottlieb,
Jasa Jackie,
James Dale Hall Sr.,
Frank Holloman,
Jeff Hansen,
Frank Hoffman,
Ken Husted,
John Kennewell,
Robert Noss,
Leonard Lewis,
Leander Lee Luke,
Robert Mastio,
Daniel Motz,
Thomas Novak,
Frank Peel,
Vernon Recker,
Bob Rich,
Gary Ricard,
Francis Russell,
James Russell,
John D. Russell,
John Russum,
Evan Shenkat Sr.,
Kenneth Schlosser,
Daniel Schneiderhans,
John Schneiderhans,
Ralph Stark,
George Stump,
Fred Tansberger,
Armin Tovo,
Ernest Tutbro,
Dennis F. Vallely,
Irvin Wachenbaum,
Felix Washburn,
Vernon Webb,
Alan Wright,
Louis Wolfmeyer.
and that concludes the reading of the names of the men and women who have passed over the last year. And we remember them this day, and we remember them in this place. And as we hear taps, which will conclude this service, think of all of these. Think of those who have made sacrifices, and how much we owe to all of them.